Hi, everybody. My name is Isabel, and I'm the president and founder of the Sustainable Universities Network. And recently, we've started this new thing called Sustainable Opportunities Australia. We've been curating sustainable opportunities for young people. And a part of this initiative is that we wanted to start highlighting and giving resources on how young people can start entering fields, given that they've got interests and backgrounds in sustainability. So this is the first of hopefully many videos to do with how to get jobs given a sustainability background and passion. I'm joined by my very good friend, Olivia. We actually did a first year class together, if I remember correctly, and I was reminiscing just before. It's so crazy to see how far everyone has come, given that that's where we started. So I'll pass it over to you, Olivia, to start off. Like, give us a little introduction about yourself. What's the job you're currently in, and what's the organisation you're working for?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name's Olivia.Kaminskyj. A little bit about myself. I currently live in Richmond, which is like a nice little spot. I have a little dog called Oscar, who I can actually show you because he's right there. just vibing.
So fantastic.
Yeah, having a great time. And I have been at my job for about a year now. So I started in July last year. I'm at Grant Thornton Australia, which is a consulting and audit firm in the city. And I started as a part-timer while I was finishing off my degree, which was a good sort of introductory 6 months. And I've been full-time for about 6 months now.
Crazy. I can't believe how long it's been, actually. And so what's the actual title of your role now?
Yeah, so I'm an associate in risk consulting. So I'm in the consulting area, and I focus on risk, mainly tech. I've been doing tech for about 6 months, and I've been really enjoying that. And they also have an anti-money laundering area, which I've also been getting involved in. So that's been really interesting too.
It's super interesting. Damn, that sounds like such a nice title.
It is, I promise.
That's so cool. And well, I know, but if you could share with everyone what you studied beforehand, and the other experiences that you've had on the lead up to this job.
Yeah, so I studied Bachelor of Commerce and I majored in sustainability, and that pretty much came about after studying in Malaysia in first year. And interestingly enough, I studied there and did environmental science with my arts degree, and then came back and was told that you can't study it as a major in your arts degree. So then I switched to commerce because they have a major in sustainability, which not a lot of people know about. But yeah, it's really interesting. And if you do it, you'll cover pretty much every area of business, so economics, accounting, legal, but from a sustainability perspective, which I found really helpful.
That is really cool. And I just realised we never even mentioned that we both went to Monash, but you then,
yeah, exactly.
It like literally says on your job.
Yeah.
That's so good. And so the other thing is, then how did you get this job? Because obviously it's a very coveted and position in a very competitive market. Like, how did you get in? What other things that you think made you stand out?
Definitely applying everywhere. I remember when I was applying at the time, I asked a lot of people that had just gotten a grad role what they did. And they said two things. They said, well, the first thing they said was, I hope you have a vacationer experience or an intern experience. That I didn't have. So that stressed me out. Yeah, because I didn't have that. So essentially in your commerce degree, I think about halfway, you can do like an internship at a firm or anywhere you want really that has to do with business or your area of study. I didn't do that, but I did study overseas a few times, and that kind of replaced it in a way. So I was kind of lucky that just kind of substituted, but I didn't really plan. So I would recommend for anyone studying commerce to make sure that they are looking to do either a study overseas or an internship of some kind. I think Monash has quite a few programs that can replace an internship, like the Green Steps, etc.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I would definitely make sure you've got something along those lines that you can pass as an internship, because they definitely look for that. And the other thing as well was their recommendation was to just apply everywhere. And I remember the application process being so stressful because you're applying like 40 different places, and it's pretty time consuming. So the other recommendation I would have is if you're applying while you're at uni, just make sure that you kind of cut back on a lot of the other things that you're doing, because you really need the time to focus on applying to as many places as possible.
That's really good insight, because I think people are like genuinely not prepared for how intense it is to apply for these jobs, and it's overwhelming a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely. I have a few friends that waited until the following year to apply just so they could really focus on it. So that's another option as well. But if you know that you'll be doing it while you're at uni, I would just, suggest to just maybe cut back the extracurriculars and just focus on that while it's happening.
Yeah, wow. So you went through like the traditional just like grad role route. Do you have like any tips on like interviewing? Like what are the things that work for you?
Yeah, I would definitely say get into networking. It's really interesting because as a commerce student, I really wasn't the type of person that liked networking or liked that sort of game, I guess. And so it can be really interesting if you're like a commerce or a law student that isn't really interested in that side of it. But I would recommend just looking at it as an opportunity to get to know people. And it's really crazy how willing people are to talk to you and to share their experiences. So I would even say get started on creating a LinkedIn, reach out to people that you know, that like everyone's been to uni, so you'll get recommendations of people that have been to Monash and you can reach out to them and connect with them that way. Or if you're at a different stage of uni to your friends and they've graduated, you can use that avenue of saying, hey, like, you've got a job. Is there any way you can provide a recommendation, or can I just chat to you about how you got in? Nepotism is a great one, unfortunately. If you know, I feel like everyone knows someone. So really use the networks that you already have and also create more ones through things like LinkedIn. Doing programs like Green Steps or other things where you can just meet people out in the workplace.
Yeah, I think that's like the painful truth, isn't it? I feel like everyone hates to hear that networking is so important, but just to like drum it home, it is. And so in your current job, like what does it entail, and what are the experiences that you had during your degree and your university time that you're like grateful to have because they're useful in your job today?
Yeah, so there's a bit of separation between, there sounds to be a bit of separation between sustainability and risk consulting. We don't specifically focus on sustainability. Grant Thornton is hoping to grow into that area, but it's funny how many skills are transferable. So one thing I would say to people is that a foot in the door is a foot in the door. And even if you get something that isn't exactly what you studied or exactly what you wanted, you're going to learn so many skills with that opportunity that you can transfer anyway. So I would tell people that are studying, when you're going for grad roles, just don't be picky. Like, just go for as many as possible, get something. You stay there for 6 months to a year, and then you can pretty much do whatever you want with that experience. I've heard from a lot of people that moving to somewhere like the Big Four, which I'm sure a lot of commerce students know about, is a lot easier when you've got like a year to 2 years experience at a smaller place. So I would definitely just say, look anywhere. And like you can always grow and move into the place that you want to go later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so risk consulting, it's really compliance and assurance based. So if you think about how do companies comply with legislation? So every company has to comply in some way. So in my space, I've been doing tech for about 6 months. So we're really looking at how do these companies use technology to interact with their clients, and what are their internal tech systems, and how do they manage those, and are they using the right processes and systems to make sure that they're complying with legislation. So it's a really interesting space, and I think especially with consulting, there are so many different areas that are really interesting. Like another area that I'm looking into trying is anti-money laundering, and that's pretty much the same concept. Like companies are looking to comply with a certain legislation, which is financial crime, or money laundering. And so they're looking to prevent that from occurring in their business. And there's a particular audit that can be conducted to ensure that if they're compliant with that audit, then they've got all the systems in place to make sure that financial crime doesn't occur in their organization. So auditing is like the same concepts sort of apply in different industries and different spaces. And then you specialize in different areas. So tech, anti-money laundering, like payroll, that sort of thing.
Well, that sounds like extremely like applicable to sustainability, like especially when it comes to legislation and stuff, right? Like
that's why I like can't reiterate more that like you will develop skills in your job that will be transferable.
Yeah.
And especially with auditing and consulting, it really doesn't matter what industry you focus on, because you're still going to learn you're still going to learn about compliance. You're still going to learn all the fundamental, like how to sample, how to test, all those fundamentals on how to conduct an audit. And that's transferable across so many industries.
That's so interesting. Because we were talking before and I was sort of surprised and interested to hear like that it's really common for people who get grad jobs to move out of them pretty quickly, like a year, 2 years, whatever. And so in many ways, those early grad jobs are like another year of education or another 2 years of education. You're learning these actual skills that you will need. And so they should, I don't know, I feel like that's such like a cool attitude to have, like that these are still learning years. You're still developing skills definitely. That you can then move to sustainability or sustainable development related practices. Like it's such a, I don't know, it's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely look at a grad role or an associate position as another opportunity to try as many different fields as you possibly can. So if you get a grad role at a firm, I would just try everything. That's like the recommendation I've been given and I've been following. And it's been really helpful, I feel, because if you think about it, like this is our like first few years of work. And essentially we had a strategy rollout meeting with the firm like last week with all the associates. And they reiterated to us that in like a year or two, we're expected to specialize. So this year and next year is really when we should try everything so that we can make sure that what we specialize in is what we really want to do. So that's why I would just look at it as a learning opportunity, a chance for you to try everything. And if you're going for jobs, really like, I don't know, I feel like in some people like don't take it seriously, and it's really easy not to, but like sort of like have fun with it. Like look into the firm, look into what they do, see if there are actually any avenues that you are interested in, and then make sure that you talk about that with the interviewer or in your application in some way, because if they can see that you're engaging with the process, then they'll probably move you along the process more so.
I see, that's so cool. Damn, that's all very useful. I'm just sitting here soaking up all this. Okay, and then what about some final top tips about people wanting to follow your footsteps? What are the things that really work for you?
I would say if like I can definitely pass my details on to you and you can post them with this recording. And if you're really interested in working, particularly at Grant Thornton, I'm definitely happy to make a recommendation. That's something that associates are able to do. So I would say reach out to who you know, if you have friends in the field, reach out to them, say, hey, I'm really interested in the firm, or I'm really interested in getting an opportunity to meet with someone. Even just like take a step back, and if you're not even up to the point where you're supposed to be applying, there are still so many other things you can do. Like you can reach out to people and spark a curiosity in what they do, and just invite them to coffee. That's like a really easy way to network and to meet people, and you'll be surprised how willing people are to talk to you. So I wouldn't feel scared. People love to talk about themselves, so like just give them that chance. And just get used to meeting people, because it's a really important skill, I think.
Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. Again, like I personally have just been soaking this up. I'm going to steal this information personally, but thank you so much for, contributing this time. Like it's really scary to be like a young person looking for a job. So it's really nice to hear from someone, who has just super recently gone through all of that. Thank you so much. As Olivia said, if you would like to get in contact with Olivia, send us a message and we can pass your details on. Otherwise, the Sustainable Universities Network, or SUN, we're always welcome to other contributions and ideas. So if you ever want anything from us, do let me know. Yeah, always happy to talk. Thanks so much, Olivia.
That's okay, no problem.